The transit stations are busier than usual for vigils, Elias says, more to herself than to anyone else.
The woman beside her exhales. Yeah, people are angry.
She doesn't have to say why.
It's happening more, the woman adds. You can feel it.
Greyfall is an ugly town for how beautiful the land around it is. Our society has a way of draining color from everything it touches. Streets first, then buildings, then people. I'm glad they haven't figured out how to drain it from the plants. They would if they could. It's strange, because the highest tier is always shown in color. Bright homes, bright vacations, bright land that never seems to dull. The event is already in motion by the time I reach the community building. No speeches yet, not chanting, just people finding places to stand. Someone has brought candles in a cardboard box that has gone soft at the corners. A volunteer is tearing strips of tape with their teeth, trying to keep a banner from folding inward. The stage looks temporary in the way official things often do. Gray, metal legs, borrowed lights, cords taped down like an afterthought. The lights are too bright for the room. I recognize most of the crowd without knowing everyone. People who always show up, people who look like they were not planning to, a few who are pretending they are just passing through. No one is smiling, except for the children, who do not yet understand what vigils ask of you. Someone tests the microphone. We wait. Nothing happens. Then there is a disturbance near the entrance, the kind that spreads before you understand it. People start leaving. Not all at once, just enough to notice. The mayor and the city assembly move first. After that, government officers step in, redirecting people toward the exits with practiced calm. Sarah is already reacting. She shifts positions near the center aisle, hands up in a way that looks helpful instead of defiant, quietly guiding people who hesitate. She keeps her voice low, her body angled so no one feels cornered. Cale adjusts without being asked. He steps closer to the edge of the room, not blocking anyone, just placing himself where pressure might build. His attention is on the officers, not the crowd. Tavin is here. He always is. Steady, present. I often wonder what he really thinks about moments like this, and why the government he believes in keeps choosing control over care. Melon is already moving through the room, redirecting the ones who are not afraid of repercussions, making sure the memory does not leave with the crowd. I stay where I am. I don't move, not because I don't care, but because I do. Everyone else is already doing something, guiding, watching, protecting, remembering. If I step in now, I change the shape of the moment. If I leave, it disappears.
So I stay.
Someone has to know how this ends.
Anonymous tip. Inbox drop. You didn't hear this from me. So apparently the little vigil at the community building got politely shut down. You know, candles, sad faces, the usual. Everyone left like good little citizens. Except one person. Just stayed. No helping, no speaking, no is everyone okay? Just standing there in perfect view like she was waiting for the camera to find her. And before her fans start screaming, yes, we've heard the speech, holding space, being present, blah, blah. But if you grew up in Greyfall, you know the type, the kind of girl who learned early that staying quiet looks classy and staying visible looks innocent. Anyway, funny how some people always know exactly when not to post. More soon. Don't pretend you're not referring.
There are rules for how things end. Not laws, not statutes, the smaller ones. The ones no one writes down because they're supposed to be obvious. You don't rush an exit. You don't raise your voice unless you're trying to start something. You let people with radios do their jobs. Most problems happen when someone skips those steps. Tavin stands near the side wall where he can see the exits without blocking them. He doesn't move when the officers do. He waits to see the pattern first. Who leaves? Who hesitates? Who looks relieved to be told what to do? It's going better than he expected. That matters. People are redirecting without friction. No one is shouting. No one is being grabbed or cornered. The officers keep their hands visible. Their voices stay level. If this is what intervention looks like, this is the version he prefers. Order without force is still order. He knows how these decisions are made. Not the exact meeting, not the specific wording, but the structure. Risk assessments, liability, capacity limits. Someone deciding that the margin for error is too thin to keep going. That isn't cruelty, it's prevention. He's seen what happens when prevention fails. From his position, he catches sight of Elia across the room. She isn't moving, not frozen, just still, watching the flow instead of joining it. That tracks. Elia always notices things before they have names. It's one of the things he respects about her, even when it makes him uneasy. She feels the shift long before he can point to the line where it happens. If something were actually wrong, he thinks, she would say something. Sarah is already guiding people toward the exits, doing exactly what he would have suggested if she hadn't beaten him to it. Kyle adjusts his stance near the edge of the crowd, eyes on the officers, not the people. Good positioning, good instincts. This is what cooperation looks like. Melon moves differently. Slower, deliberate. She stops when someone stops. Speaks when someone resists. She has a way of making people feel seen without making them feel safe enough to stay. That's important too. Tavin checks the sequence again. Mayor first, assembly members, then officers. That order makes sense. Leadership exits to reduce pressure. Authority remains to manage flow. If anyone asked him later, he could explain it. That comforts him more than he'd like to admit. He doesn't like uncertainty. He's learned to live with it, but he prefers when things follow recognizable logic. Tonight does. Mostly. What unsettles him is not the intervention. It's the quiet after. The way the room feels thinner once enough people have left. The way presence turns into absence without anyone naming it. He tells himself that's just how gatherings end. You don't always get closure. Sometimes you just get compliance. When he finally moves, it's because there's nothing left to manage. No more questions he can answer. No rule he can apply to what lingers in the air after. As he passes Elia, he considers asking what she's seeing. He doesn't. If there's a problem, it will surface. Systems aren't perfect, but they aren't blind either. Patterns get flagged, reports get filed, corrections get made. That's how it's supposed to work. And until he has evidence otherwise, Tavin believes in things that are supposed to work.